Hi, this video is for day one for the SBAC review test, and we're going to go through a series of basic skills review questions. So this is day one of the algebra and function one for interpreting functions. And the objective is to review for the SBAC, and then you're going to be working with your partner on the SBAC problems. So question number one, Bernice and Lynette make lanyards, and Bernice can make 8 lanyards in 2 hours, and Lynette can make 3 lanyards in 1 hour. And first question, write an equation that can be used to find the number of hours T it takes Bernice and Lynette to make 84 lanyards together. So we're going to start with the rate for Bernice. Since she makes 8 lanyards in 2 hours, her rate is actually 4 lanyards per hour. And for Lynette, she makes 3 in 1 hour, so her rate is 3 lanyards per hour. So the equation that we can use to represent the two of them working together is 4 for Bernice times the number that she makes plus 3 for Lynette times the number that she makes is equal to 84. And then we're going to solve for the variable. So we have a total of 7x, which is 84, and therefore x equals 12. So together they make the, actually this part belongs to part B. So find the number. So this is the equation for part A, and the answer is 12. So the number of hours it takes for Bernice and Lynette to make 80 lanyards together is 12 hours. So it will take them 12 hours to make 84. Next question. Solve the inequality for n. So we're going to get n by itself. The first step is to add 6 to both sides. And we have 24 is less than n, but we always like to write the variable with the variable on the left. So it's going to be n greater than 24. And that is the answer. Number 3, which inequality represents all possible solutions? So to get x by itself, we need to divide negative 15. And we have, whenever we divide by a negative number in an inequality, we need to switch the variable so it becomes x less than or equal to 1 over 5. And that looks like is choice C. Number 4, there are 187 students on a field trip. 7 students ride in a van. The rest ride to fill 5 buses. Write an equation that can be solved to find the number of students S that are on each bus. So since 7 students ride in a van and the rest ride 5 buses. So let's assume that we have 5 times S. S for the number of bus on each students on each bus. So we got 5 of them. 5 times S is the total number of students on the buses, plus the 7 students that are riding in the van. Together, that will be 187. So that's the equation. And then B is to find the number of students that are on the bus. So we're going to solve the above equation. So we're going to subtract 7. So we have 5S equals 180. And then divide by 5, we have S equals 36. So each bus holds 36 students. Number 5, graph the system of linear inequalities. So the first one is actually in slope intercept form, and we have negative 1/3 as the slope. That will be y-intercept. We're going to need to find the y-intercept first. So y-intercept is 2, and then negative 1 over 3. That's going down 1 over 3. So we always go down and then go to the right. So if it's negative, we go down. If it's positive, we go up, but we always go to the right. So there's the first equation. And notice that the inequality sign has an equal sign. So this line is going to be a solid line. And it says greater than, so we know that the solutions all lie above this line. So this is the first inequality graph with the shading. Second one, same method. We're going to start with the y-intercept of 1. And then we're going to use the slope, which is 3 over 1. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. And this line should be dotted because there is no equal sign. So we're going to draw a dotted line underneath. And this time is greater than also. So it's also, the solutions are also going to be above the line. And technically it's over here too. But now we have to combine the two systems together. So we realize that in the middle is where the two solutions overlap. So here is the complete solution for the system of inequality. So the answer is in the top left corner, and that is the solution. Number 6, select the order pair that solution to the equation. So if you actually test each one of them, or actually even graph each one of them, you will realize that 2, 0 is here, negative 3, 0 is here, negative 2, 3 is here, and 3, negative 2 is here. All of them are, of all the points, there's only one point, which is the second one, negative 3, 0, falls on the line. So that is the answer. Number 7, graph the system. So this one is just like the one that we did earlier. The only thing maybe we want to do is rewrite this one so that it's in slope-intercept form. So the slope goes first. And then here, negative 1/2 x plus 5. So with that, we're going to graph the first one with the y-intercept of 2. And then we're going to go up 1 over 3. And there it is. And this line should be a solid line. So here it is. Less than means it's going to be below the equation, the graph. So the solutions are below this line. Next, we're going to graph the second line, which starts with 5 as the y-intercept, and then going negative 1/2. That means negative 1 down 1 over 2. And this line is a dotted line. So we're going to draw a dotted line. And there is our second line. And greater than means it's going to be above. So where we see where they overlap is going to be actually in this little area right here. So the solution is right here in this corner. So that's the overlapping. Number 8, find the domain and range for each function. So if we actually understand that each one of these has a different graph. The first one is actually a linear function. So this is 4x plus 4. So when you graph it, it looks something like this. So it's a line. And you can see that for this line, the domain and range should be all reals. So going left and right. And then the range is also going up and down. So both of them are all reals. Second one is actually an absolute value function. So the absolute value function goes like a V shape, and this one is opening up. So it goes something like this. So as you can see, the domain, it goes left and right, so it should be all reals. But the range, notice that the range is all, it's above the x-axis, so it should be y greater than 0. Greater than or equal to 0 because it's also on the line. So that would be the domain and range for the second one. And the third one is a quadratic function, and we know that the quadratic function is graphed this way. It's like a U shape. So this one is going to have the domain all reals again, so because it's going left and right. And then the range is going to be the same as the absolute value function. It's above the line, the x-axis as well. So it should be y greater than or equal to 0. So those are the domain and range for the 3 different functions. Number 9, this graph shows the amount of gas in gallons in a motorcycle gas tank modeled as a function of time. So question says determine whether each statement is true according to the graph. So number 1 statement, the amount of gas in the tank is maximum at 0 hour. So we can see that at 0 hour we have number of gallon is 8, which is the highest in the whole entire time. So this statement is actually true. Next, it says the gas tank will be empty after 6 hours. So as you can see, it will reach 0 after 6 hours. So this is also a true statement. The last one, the maximum amount of gas in the gas tank was 4 gallons. Well, clearly we can see that the maximum is 8 gallons, not 4. So this is a false statement. And that would be the end of that question. Number 10, find the rate of change in the vault from 0 to 20. So we can see that the point coordinate is 0, 4.7 at x equal to 0. At x equal to 20, the point is at 24.8. And so using the slope formula, that's going to be y2 minus y1. That's 4.8 minus 4.7 over x2 minus x1. That's 20 minus 0. That gives us a rate of 0.1 over 20, which is exactly 0.005, and the unit is kilometers per second. And that's the end of number 10. Number 11, the table shows the relationship the deer population in a habitat and the time in years since a researcher began tracking the deer population. So we can see that the year goes from 0 to 6, and the population goes from 202 to 355. Determine whether the statement is true or false. Number 1, the deer population is always increasing. So if you look at the numbers, each one of them is going up. So that is a true statement. Everything is going up. Next, the greatest increase in the deer population occurred between year 3 and 4. So in year 3 to 4, there is a jump of 30. But if you actually look at everything, that's a 30, 13, 10, 30, and then 30, 40. So each one of them has a different jump, and looks like that the greatest jump happened between year 5 and 6, which is 40. So this is actually a false statement. The deer population increased the same amount each year. Well, obviously that is a false statement because we can see that each one of them have a different increase every year. And so that is the end of number 11. And number 12, select the graph that correctly represents the height of a rocket above ground. And we can see that of all of the graphs, if this is the ground right here, that the one that makes most sense is going to be A, because this is where the height, you can tell the height for the pool, for the rocket above ground. So the answer is A, and that takes us to the last question for today. Use the question below to answer y equals 4x plus 12, which equivalent equation is correctly matched with a key feature of the graph of the function it represents. And so looking at the answer choices, it says that A highlights that the x-intercept is at -3. So if we look at the x-intercept is when y equal to 0. So when y equal to 0 and we solve for the graph, that's going to give us -3. So we look at the answer choice. That looks like it's a correct answer already, but let's take a look at the rest. X-intercept is at 3. Well, we just solved it. We have 0 equals 4x plus 12 minus 12, and we got -12 equals 4x dividing by 4. We have obviously x equals -3, so this one is false. Next one says y-intercept is at -3. So the y-intercept is when x equal to 0. So if you let x equal to 0, then we got y equals 0 plus 12. That's 12. So that y-intercept is actually 12. So when x equal to 0, y equals 12, and that next two answers are wrong. So that would leave A the only possible answer. And that is the end of day 1. So you can go ahead and get started with the worksheet number 1 for day 1.